What's going on, everyone? Talen here, and welcome to another Marvel Future Fight video. Alright, so in this one here, we're going to be taking a look at Black Widow with her new uniform and her tier 3. We are still on the APK, so this is the pre-update version of the game. So with that, we have the standard disclaimer. This video is brought to you by Netmarble and the Star Agents program, and also all of the things that you see here, the numbers, descriptions, data, stats, and all of that can change from now until the live version. So let's go ahead and take a look at what they did to Black Widow here. First, we can start with the uniform. Here we have her movie uniform. It is going to change 5 skills, and then the uniform bonus is going to be increased chain hit damage by 25% when attacking, and enhance the effects of her tier 2 and 4-star passive. She doesn't get anything too notable for the passive upgrades, but for the skills here, we have a change to the 3rd skill that gives us the 35% all attack, 35% crit rate. And then we have 6 seconds of damage immunity on the 4th skill now, with a 2-second paralysis that you're not really going to be taking advantage of because it's at the very end of the skill, which is quite annoying. The 5th skill here now has penetration, but for super armor barrier, shield, all damage immune, not invincibility. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I don't think that's really going to help her much in PvP, which I'm thinking that's where she might have been targeted for, is PvP, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like she has enough to make her a viable option in PvP, and from the little bit of testing that I did in PvE, she doesn't seem very good in PvE either, so not really sure where they're intending her to be. But anyway, we also have a 35% all attack boost here, which is nice. So we have quite a few boosts to her attack. We've got 35% here that we can get. We've got 35% here that we can get. And then from her passive here, let's go on over. Her 4-star passive is now 35% increase to physical attack, whereas it was only 5% before. So we have an extra 30% here. And then at her tier 2 passive, we have that skill damage and bonus damage being new. The lightning damage and dodge rate is, or guaranteed dodge, is the same as before, so she's just getting that skill and bonus damage. But even with all of that, I found her damage to be lacking quite a bit when I was in World Boss Ultimate. So I'm not really sure if I was just not playing her correctly or what, but the damage just was not impressing me. So let's see what else we want to go over. Her tier 3 here. So her tier 3 is going to ignore target's dodge by 80%, gives her 8 seconds of invincibility, removes all debuffs, increased damage by 50% for 1 attack, and it is a physical damage attack. The tier 3 does not ignore iframe, so you can't use it when someone is in iframe. I did test that out in World Boss Ultimate, so I don't know if they'll change that or not, but yeah, it does not ignore iframe right now. What else do we want to do? Let's check out the skills here, and yeah, see how difficult it is to, I don't know, take advantage of her skills. So first, we have the first skill here, just kind of a standard skill. Second skill, another standard skill, but here we go. It's a little bit of lightning damage at the end there. If you notice, all of her skills are typed as physical, but she still retains that lightning damage on her tier 2 passive, and it's just because 2 of her skills have additional lightning damage at the very end of the skill, so I guess that helps or makes sense. But anyway, now we have the 3rd skill. Gives us our buff here, and again, just intermittent iframes as she dashes around, but you can cancel it right away and still get the buff. Or not right away, you have to wait till, boom, she hits the ground right there. So as soon as she stomps on the ground, you can cancel the skill and you will get the buff. The 4th skill, just another kind of basic looking skill. She has intermittent iframes. It is a little bit of a longer iframe at the end, but as you can see, that paralysis is all the way over here at the very end. When she dashes through the enemies right there, they get paralyzed. So not really going to be that useful in World Boss Ultimate. I mean, unless you are letting the skill play all the way through. And you can, because you do get 6 seconds of damage immunity, so you can technically be pretty safe while using the skill, but you can still get guard broken out of the skill because, yeah, you just have intermittent iframes. So I don't know how I feel about that skill either. And now if I move on to the 5th skill, we actually do have a full iframe here, which is fantastic. She kind of snipes them in the chopper there, drops the chopper, and boom, there's that classic kind of puddles of lightning that we're used to seeing with Black Widow. It has at the very end of the 5th skill. And that is a pretty big problem, and you want to know why? If you're using a damage proc, you can't take advantage of that. So all that damage right there is kind of extra damage. So the skill itself has already ended. So your damage proc that activates for one skill, because it says activation for one skill, is over. So the damage proc turns off, and then that lightning damage comes down. And that lightning damage is actually the most damaging part about that skill. So you can't really take advantage of that lightning with a damage proc, which is quite annoying. So the only way I could see to get the most damage out of her is with a CTP of Rage. And by most damage, I just mean having all of the damage from the skill counting well being buffed by your CTP. So yeah, that's a little bit annoying to me that you're kind of going to need a CTP of Rage to really get some damage out of her, or to get the most damage out of her. Yeah, because right there, that ended up doing similar damage to the whole start, or the whole duration of the actual skill itself, with a proc on it. I had a 180 damage proc, and for the whole helicopter scene and shooting them, still did like less damage almost than the lightning coming down without the damage proc buffing the lightning damage. So you really want to get that lightning damage to actually get buffed up. So yeah, not sure how I feel about that. And the tier 3 skill, we can go ahead and take a look at that. Goes into an iframe, rains down all the rockets on them, and then just shoots them right there, and then the helicopter comes back. But her tier 3 also doesn't seem to do a whole heck of a lot of damage, so I'm not really sure what's going on here. If her damage is just not scaling well, if they're still going to be tweaking the numbers, or I don't know if there's some other buff they're still going to do on her, because right now her damage just seems to be the outlier. But this is the obelisk I was using, a 180 proc. As you saw, the uniform's at Mythic. We can go over the uniform options real quick, and then I'll show you some of the damage that I was talking about here. So her first option for a uniform is going to be Hulk Endgame. Then we have Spider-Man Stealth Suit for the Far From Home. We have Captain America's Team Suit. And then we have Nick Fury. And then we have Nightcrawler's X-Force uniform. So those are going to be her... Oop, don't hit the microphone. So those are going to be her uniform options. So now, actually, let's show her stats off real quick here. Everything is quite low, but we do have our Ignore Defense and Skill Cooldown maxed out. Kind of the main things we want to look at. So yeah, let's go ahead and hop right over to World Boss Ultimate, and I'll show you what her damage is looking like. Alright, so we're loading in here to Proxima. This is stage 39, the highest stage that I have available to me. Yeah, so let's go ahead and show what Black Widow can do here. So we'll switch over to her, and again, we want to use the third skill, wait till she hits the ground, and then I'm using the fifth skill here. Look at that, we got some pretty nice damage. And then if we wait, look at that lightning damage. Lightning damage almost does the same amount of damage as before, and the obelisk was not activated. So boom. So if you look up here, you can see the obelisk is activated. 3, 2, 1, and then look, the green went away, and then the lightning drops. So the obelisk is not active during that time, and that still does a significant amount of damage. So you definitely want your proc or something to be active during that drop of the lightning. And then if we go over here to the fourth skill, well, okay, we didn't even have the obelisk go off during the fourth skill, but fourth skill doesn't do a heck of a lot of damage either. So let's, oh, okay, we had it go off from the third skill there. So anyway, let's try the tier 3 now and see, okay, let's see what kind of damage that can do. Tier 3. Okay, it's looking pretty good. It's not bad, but, I mean, Yelena was doing more damage than that. So I'm not sure if maybe it's because she doesn't have any all defense down here for that. And if we apply some all defense down, maybe her damage will start, you know, shooting up through the roof. But we have that resist going on, so I'm not sure how beneficial it's going to be. So yeah, for Black Widow here, I don't know, I'm just not really impressed with her damage. So I think that's my main complaint about her. So damage just looks very underwhelming. Again, right there, that lightning. If we can take advantage of that lightning, I think her damage is going to skyrocket. So we're going to do a quick test here. I'm going to, well, you already saw what a proc does. So that's kind of the damage that we can do with a regular damage proc. With the CTP of energy, I mean, you're gonna have the same problem. It's still a proc for one skill, so it's still gonna end after the helicopter drop and not take advantage of lightning. The only thing that does carry over for the CTP of energy is the chain hit damage. So you will still see the green icon lit up there for your for the obelisk or for the custom gear, but that is only for chain hit damage. That's not buffing the damage of the attack anymore in terms of like your 200% proc, your 180 proc, or anything like that. That's only the chain hit damage. It's still letting you know is active for that extra time. So let's go ahead and just hop right over to the CTP of Rage and see if we notice a significant difference now that we can take advantage of that lightning at the end of the 5th skill. So I'll be right back with the CTP of Rage. Alright, so we have switched over to the CTP of Rage here, as you can see. So those are the stats. Then we hop over here. She does have 63% crit rate and maxed out dodge, and she does buff her own crit rate with her 3rd skill, so we will be maxed out on the crit rate as well. So we have both crit rate and dodge maxed out for this test here. So let's go ahead and hop over to the actual fight. Alright, so we're loading back into the fight now with the CTP of Rage, and I have not done any prior tests from now until when I equipped it, so I don't know what the CTP of Rage is going to look like on her, so you'll get my initial reaction here of me either being right or wrong about that lightning damage being the deciding factor for her damage. So yeah, let's see if I was right or wrong about that. Let's switch on over, get our buff going, and then here we go. CTP of Rage isn't even going to stay active for that long. It's not even going to stay active for that long. So you know what I think her rotation is going to be is you want to have the Rage activate partway through the 5th skill right here. So let's do the 5th skill. Let's hopefully get the activation here. Not quite. Not really sure. The damage doesn't even seem to be that good now. Might just be because I'm not timing it very well. So let's, yeah, actually the damage does look a lot better with the CTP of Rage. So yeah, she definitely seems to be taking advantage of the CTP of Rage. So let's, alright, Rage, I want you to activate before the lightning comes down. No? Okay. This is proving to be very difficult to get the Rage to actually activate before the lightning. Come on, there we go. Alright, so what are we going to look like here? Ooh, yeah, that's, see, that lightning does quite a bit of damage, but all of her other skills are hitting a lot harder with the CTP of Rage here compared to the regular obelisk. So yeah, that's looking like a pretty big difference. So what about her tier 3? Is that going to be hitting a lot harder too? It might have if the Rage actually went off. So let's try to reload that. Alright, so let's do another run here so I can kind of get a better idea of what's going on. It looked really good from that initial run that the Rage was actually boosting her damage quite a bit. But let's see if we can get a cleaner run here and actually see what kind of damage it will do on the tier 3. Yeah, that guaranteed dodge is quite nice. And then we, let's combine this with the tier 3. That lightning. Oh, there we go. That was a bit of damage. That was a bit of damage. Okay. So with the Rage, I'm actually a little happier with her damage. I still think it's a little bit light, but at least the CTP of Rage does seem to be filling in some of that gaps, because I thought it was very, very underwhelming without the CTP of Rage. With the CTP of Rage, I think it's acceptable, but I don't know. I'd still like to see it a little bit higher than this even. So there we go. And then we've got that lightning coming down. Pop that. And yeah, we do. Okay, so she's looking better here, but one of her main things is she can't really cancel skills. So that might be why her damage seems a little bit low compared to a lot of other characters. Because a lot of other ones you can combine like their 4 and their 5. You can get a buff from another skill. So you're doing like 2 or 3 skills in preparation for your damage proc, whereas with Black Widow here, you kind of just have to pick a skill and proc on it because you don't really get any extra damage after cancel, or none of the damage persists after canceling the skill. So that is one thing that kind of hurts her a little bit. So for Black Widow in particular here, If you're going to build her up, I really think she needs a CTP of Rage. I don't really think she does very well with a just regular damage proc, but just to be thorough, I will switch on over to a CTP of Energy now and see if we still see really bad damage, or if we see similar damage to what the Rage was doing here, and maybe I was just kind of, I don't know, getting really low damage because it was a regular Obelisk I was using. Maybe that chain hit damage is really gonna, I don't know, make her better. But yeah, let's just hop over to a CTP of Energy and see what happens. Alright, so we have our CTP of Energy equipped here. It's a 200% proc, so let's see if we notice any kind of difference, if it's going to be very similar to the Obelisk, or if it'll be more in line with the CTP of Rage. Alright, so we'll go ahead and switch on over, see if we can, so this is no damage proc right up there. That is only chain hit damage that we are receiving. So let's wait again, because we did have it activate right from that initial hit from the third skill, of course. Alright, so here we go. Let's see what we can get for damage. Yeah, see, as you can, it's very similar to the Obelisk. That, I don't know, we really need that extra boost in the lightning damage, I think. Or on the, yeah, on the drop from the lightning. So yeah, it's not looking too good. Oh, the tier 3 looks like it hits harder. But then again, when I say harder, I'm comparing that to the regular Obelisk, not for the CTP of Rage. So yeah, for Black Widow here, I don't know. I really think that it's CTP of Rage or bust on her, or maybe just do like a defensive build and try her out in PvP. But yeah, overall, I'm not super impressed. I think she still needs a little bit of work. She's just not really in line with some of the other characters. She's seems even a lot weaker than some tier 2 characters. So it seems like she would be kind of one of the lower ranked tier 3s if I were to like rank the tier 3s. Just based off of how she's looking right now. So I'm hoping they change a little bit with her. Maybe make one of her skills cancelable so you get extra effects with it that you can take advantage of for the next skill. Maybe boost her damage even a little bit more. Maybe give her some all defense down on one of her skills, just maybe on only her tier 3, or maybe on like her, I don't know, 4th or 5th skill or something like that. I think she just needs a little bit of help because her damage just doesn't seem very good. With CTP of Rage, it was looking better. But again, to have to put a CTP of Rage on the character just to see like respectable damage, I don't know. It doesn't really make me want to tier 3 the character. I really like Black Widow, so I want to tier 3 her, but right now I'm kind of on the fence. I was hoping that taking a look at her on the APK here, I'd be like, ooh, yes, all right, I'm justified in wanting to tier 3 Black Widow, but yeah, as of right now, I'm not sure. But let me know your thoughts on Black Widow here. If you've kind of seen other videos of her that show her off a little bit better, so maybe I'm just doing something wrong. If you think her damage is low like I do, if you think I'm off on her damage or anything like that, so yeah, just let me know in the comments below what your opinions are on Black Widow here, if you think she needs a buff, if you think she looks okay, and all of that. So that'll be it for this video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.